executive officer, treasury consulting, and also a venture capitalist. As we speak, Treasury Consulting Group is a multinational headquartered group based out India, Singapore, and Hong Kong. More importantly, we do have offices in 3 parts of the globe. And as we speak, Treasury Consulting Group is 100% profitable group, which means that all entities are 100% profitable. Now, we are a proprietary hedge fund. Now, by proprietary hedge fund, we mean that we take or operate as a hedge fund. But please remember, I used a word proprietary. By proprietary, I means whatever position we are taking, it is not backed up by any third party capital, which includes venture capitalist, private equity, probably any venture debt fund. Like American hedge funds, who operate as a non-proprietary mode, which means that they take the money from the investors, specifically high net worth individuals, and they invest their money. But our is different, that we invest our own money. So we are proprietary. But yes, like American hedge funds, we also operate in FICC category. By FICC, it means fixed income, currencies, and commodities. In fixed income, we are taking a position in equities and we are taking position in international indexes, which includes Dow Jones, NASDAQ, your Japanese 225 index, your Netherlands index, Hong Kong index, and many such indexes. In currencies, we take a position in the direct and indirect pairs. And we do have our own commodities desk now, which means that we take positions in commodities, not in India, outside India, on the COMEX platform. But like I said, it is a proprietary fund, which means whether we take a position of $100, we take a position of $200, $500, or even $1,000, example, it is backed up by our own capital. We are a multinational hedge fund, which means that we take a position in US equities, European equities, and many other Asian economies. And we continue to grow. So probably in another 2 to 3 years, we would have more exposure in the Asian setup. Probably we will increase our exposure in US and European setup. On time to time basis, we continue to share information on our social desk, which predominantly includes our short videos, our Facebook, our LinkedIn, and all. Apart from that, we have our platforms like our private news desk. We have our learning platforms, Sheetal Academy. We have our trainings program. We have our, consulting business. We have our family office desk. We have our pension fund desk. We have our private placement programs and many more platforms who are linked with our fixed income platform, which means www.fixedincome.global. In case you wish to have any information, you can WhatsApp on my personal number, which is +91 9899242978. Alternatively, you can WhatsApp at our back office, which is +91 9818485155. Today, our Islamic financing desk would be shooting another video whereby we would be covering a very important and a topic which requires, to me, a huge and healthy discussion known as usufruct, not only in Islamic banking but also in the Western banking. Because usufruct is a topic which is subject to huge interpretation issues. Is covering a very important topic, and I personally believe that this topic requires a very healthy discussion, not only in Islamic banking but also in Western banking. Now, why I'm saying that this topic requires a healthy discussion? Guys, the market is changing at a much faster pace than anticipated. There are multiple indexes who are getting phased out, and there are multiple indexes who are coming into the picture. And it is not viable for me to explain all indexes in a 10-15 minutes video. Let it be honest. But before that, I would like to cover the definition of sukuk by one of the respected bodies in Islamic finance. So the definition is, according to the Accounting and Auditing Organization for Islamic Financial Institution, AAOIFI, they define sukuk as certificates of equal value representing undivided shares in ownership of tangible assets, usufruct, and services, or in ownership of the assets of a particular project or special investment activity. Now, first of all, I have an interpretation issue as far as the tangible assets are concerned, because probably many years ago, the corporates were having only tangible assets. Rather, the strength of the corporate is determined on land, buildings, probably the machinery, the plant, the fixtures, equipments, and all these. But these things are they are there today. There is nothing wrong in that. But the point is, now we have intangibles also. And we cannot run away from intangibles. Today, if you look at any corporate, whether it is Amazon, it is Google, it is Facebook, it is Microsoft, it is Apple, probably any other organization of the globe, small, big, medium, operates in any, I would say, any judiciary of the globe, they have intangibles. And the accounting boards like International Accounting Standard Board, IASB, and Financial Accounting Standard Board, they have their separate nomenclatures as far as the intangible valuation is concerned. And guys, believe that intangible valuation is an integral part of the balance sheet. Rather, it can even swing your P&L, which, by the way, is known as impairment. It is said that tangible assets are depreciated while intangible are amortized. But intangible also impaired, and once impaired, intangible asset cannot be repriced. So if once you impaired that intangible asset, you cannot reprice that. But anyways, probably in the later stages, our Islamic banking desk would be stressing on intangible slowly. But today I would like to covering a topic called usufruct, which is very important. Now, what is usufruct? First let me explain the definition. It is the legal right to use someone else's property temporarily and keep any profit from it. Please stress the word, it is a legal right. There is a difference between legal right and deemed right. It is not deemed, it is legal right. Now, legal rights originate from the contracts, which shortly known as contracting. Because example, today I am creating SPV because for every sukuk you need SPV, special purpose vehicle. Of course, you have special purpose entities, you have special purpose companies, and you have a huge gamut of things. So special purpose vehicle is not the only thing we do have as we speak. But special purpose vehicles are backed up by the legal contracting, which, by the way, they cannot run. Common sense, they cannot run. But there are millions of legal contracts we have in the world, and probably millions and millions of legal contracts, clauses we have, and it is impossible to cover everything in one video. But I have summarized the main contracts. I repeat, I have summarized the main contracts, not everyone. So when we speak about usufruct, which is nothing but a legal right to use someone else's property and keep any profit made from it, the contracting includes adhesion contracts, unconscionable contracts, unilateral contracts, bilateral contracts, multilateral contracts, express and implied contracts, voidable contracts, auto-enforceable contracts, third-party contracts, unavoidable contracts, and very important, set-off contracts. Of course, I repeat that there are thousands types of contracts we have in the world. So I cannot explain all type of contracts. But having said that, I'm trying explaining, the kind of contracts which I can. See you in the next. When we raise money from sukuk, which is also known as Islamic bonds and sometimes known as investment certificates, we need to understand the importance of usufruct. An importance of usufruct derived from the creation of SPV, which includes special purpose vehicle and many such types of special purpose vehicles. Usufruct is divided into two parts, which known as usu and fructs. Usu means right to use something directly without damaging or altering it, while fructs refer to the right to enjoy the fruits of the property being used, that is, to profit from the real property by leasing it. Now, usufruct is predominantly of two types. Number one, perfect and imperfect. By perfect, the usufructuary, which means the individual, remember, usufructuary can be an individual, or it could be a corporate, or it could be an implied SPV. That's very important. Implied SPV, special purpose vehicle. Because gone are the days when the world were having only SPVs. Now we have variety of SPV, and one of the varieties include implied SPVs. So I repeat, when we speak about usufructuary, please do not make your mind that I'm talking about an individual. I am talking about an individual, a corporate, probably SPV, and also an implied SPV. So please do take a note of that. Like I clearly mentioned, there is a contract type called express and implied contracts. They are not easy contracts. I repeat, we have adhesion contracts, unconscionable contracts, unilateral contracts, bilateral contracts, multilateral contracts, express and implied contracts, voidable contracts, auto enforceable contracts, unvoidable contracts, third party contracts, set of contracts. Please do take a note of that. So in a perfect condition, the usufructuary can use the property and profit, but cannot change the substantial in a substantial way. But in an imperfect usufruct, the usufructuary does have a right to alter the property. Now this is as per the legal definition of usufruct, but market is changing, and now we have hybrid usufruct. And what is hybrid usufruct? It includes some component of the perfect and it includes some component of the imperfect, which means that it is blended. Like it is neither 100% perfect nor it is 100% imperfect. It is blended, which means that suppose there is a mall company of Saudi, taking a hypothetical example, who wish to raise 2 billion of sukuk. And suppose it's a multi-tranche structure. Now, please refer our earlier videos about multi-tranche structure. And I'm not repeating that in this video because it consumes time. In a multi-tranche structure, they are creating a unilateral SPV. Now, in a unilateral SPV, which means that the originator having everything in the one SPV, which having their own advantage and their own disadvantage. Let it be honest, because unilateral SPV is having some pros and cons. We cannot run away from that. But having said that, suppose that that Saudi mall company wanted to raise 2 billion US dollars sukuk, and it is not a sovereign sukuk. Now, by sovereign means it's an individual company, private company. It is not a government who is raising that money. Now, hybrid usufruct means that in a SPV, you are listing the assets. By listing doesn't mean on an exchange, means you are listing the assets. Now, in these assets are backed up by contracts, legal contracts, which, by the way, you cannot run. Having said that, some part of the asset, the usufructuary, can use as a perfect, which means that minor alteration is okay, not a big deal, but major alteration not possible. Some part is imperfect, which means it can even be a major alteration, while the few is hybrid. Now guys, as we speak, the sukuk market is developing, but unfortunately a good level of discussion is required to have more and more best practices, so that the corporate entities, whether they are listed corporate entities or they are non-listed corporate entities, they can have the best practices. And I haven't touched a very hot concept called sovereign sukuk, because probably I would have a separate video in that regards. In a sovereign sukuk, things are completely different than what I'm talking today. Henceforth, it would be advisable for the corporates, whether they are listed corporates in any country or they are non-listed, means private corporates. When I say about private corporates, I am talking about the family-owned also, to consider the hybrid usufruct. This is the best practice. Probably another couple of years from now, another few years from now, we would have a better version than hybrid usufruct. But as we speak, we are away from the bookish definition, which is known as the perfect and the imperfect usufruct. So the sukuk entities, the originators, the special purpose vehicle creators, the structures, the structuring people, they need to understand that the hybrid usufruct is really very important. And this is what the purpose of this video. This is Rahul Magan from Treasury Consulting Group. You know my personal number, which is +91 9899 242 978. Alternatively, you know our back office, which is +91 9818 485 155. Have a great time ahead.